We all face moments where we need a favor from a coworker or a friend. Usually, that means approaching their desk and interrupting their workflow while trying to avoid appearing overly aggressive. Instead of relying on improvisation, you can employ a specific 4-step sequence of psychological cues to manage the interaction. By the end of this process, you will have a clear method to establish rapport, increase the likelihood of a yes, and navigate potential pushback. Before you begin, you need a specific goal for your request and a basic awareness of your own physical movements. Mapping these variables provides a technical roadmap for what often feels like an unpredictable social interaction. Step 1 begins before you ever mention the favor. You need to initiate contact with the person early on, well before the actual request is made. Approach them and ask for a brief explanation of a simple task, even if you already know the answer. The goal is to create a moment of shared information. This works because humans generally enjoy being positioned as knowledgeable. When you ask for their input, you are placing them in the role of the expert. Providing this help triggers a psychological effect where the target develops a slight positive bias toward the person seeking their advice. This preliminary interaction helps lower defensive barriers and establishes an emotional baseline that makes the subsequent request feel less intrusive. With rapport established, you move to the execution of the request. Most people sabotage this moment with a common phrasing error. Starting a request with "could you" frames the favor as a theoretical question. This gives the listener's brain the option to agree in theory without committing to the actual action. Replace the theoretical opener with a direct imperative. Please do this specific task. While speaking, introduce a subtle head nod. This subconscious mirroring triggers an involuntary, agreeable response in the target, making them attentive to your request. Precision is key here. If the nod is too exaggerated, it breaks the psychological effect and creates immediate social awkwardness. Assertive phrasing combined with subtle physical mirroring minimizes the instinctive friction that often leads to a quick refusal. Even with a perfect ask, you may encounter a dodge. This happens when the person hesitates or offers a vague excuse. The counter tactic is to stop talking, maintain eye contact, and remain completely silent. Sudden silence in a conversation creates internal pressure. Most people find the lack of verbal feedback deeply uncomfortable and will feel a drive to resolve the tension. To fill the silence, the target will often keep talking, frequently over-explaining their position and revealing the actual reason for their hesitation. This use of silence encourages the target to address their own excuses, often leading to a more honest negotiation without you having to push. The final step involves addressing a failure. If the person has missed a deadline or failed a task, you need to correct it without causing defensiveness. Leading with the word "you" often sounds like an accusation, which triggers an immediate defensive response in the listener. Shift the sentence into passive voice to focus on the object, not the person. Instead of "you didn't close the window," try "the window was left open." Removing the personal pronoun removes the feeling of a personal attack, allowing them to focus on the error. Structural linguistic framing serves as a tool for de-escalation, allowing you to correct a mistake while keeping the relationship intact. This sequence covers the entire interaction, from building initial rapport and phrasing the ask to managing hesitation and correcting failures. These 4 steps offer a practical framework that can be applied in various professional or personal environments. To ensure the physical components remain natural, practice the subtle head nod in a mirror to find a pace that isn't noticeable to others. Mastering these subtle adjustments provides a structured approach to communication, reducing the ambiguity of a standard request.